Good evening, hidden no more women. How are you? Oh my goodness, it is so good to be back with you this evening. I know it's been a couple of months. It's been an amazing, full, long summer, and I am so excited to be back with you guys this evening as we kick off a new Hidden No More Women interview session series. And I'm excited tonight that we have with us here a dear daughter of the Most High, someone who, oh man, I just treasure and consider a privilege to know her and to be a part of her life. Leslie, thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
So excited to have you. So as you all saw, Leslie is an author, she's an advocate, and she has just released her first book, y'all. First book. Let's give her some love. If you are watching live, oh my goodness, if you've ever written a book before, give Leslie some love, because I know you probably know that it is not an easy task, and it comes with great weight. It comes with great responsibility, but I am just so proud of her and just honored to have her with us tonight. And so, as you said, we introduced her as an author and an advocate, but I'm going to have Leslie share with you who is Leslie? Who are you behind these titles, beyond the things that you do and that you have done, beyond the degrees that you hold? Who is Leslie? Share with us that tonight.
Oh, yes, thank you. That just got me emotional because the first book, just to hear that's amazing. But yes, usually we introduce ourselves with the roles, and I do this, but the roles that have shaped my life. I am a daughter, I am a sister, I'm an aunt, I'm a friend, you know, I the role that, well, I would say yes, the role that I that shapes my identity would be the I'm a daughter of God. And in Psalms 139:14, that has been one of my favorite scriptures of I don't want to mess it up, so I have it here. I am wonderfully and fearfully made. And that took me a while to believe. So this that is why now I get to say this is who I am.
Yeah.
This is the person I am, despite of everything else. My parents are from El Salvador. I was born with spina bifida. That's the things around me and the things that are a part of me. But the main thing is my identity in Christ.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Leslie. And we can't leave this one out, y'all, because in the book here, in chapter 2, you talk about being chosen. And so I don't want to leave that one out tonight as you introduce yourself. Chosen, which you so beautifully outline in the book for us. And y'all, if you haven't gotten your copy, we will drop that link down there. Isn't it beautiful? Look at this cover here.
Yes.
It is so beautiful. Walking and healing, overcoming limits, and embracing life. So check it out. We're going to drop that link for you shortly. So thank you so much for introducing yourself, Leslie. As you mentioned, and I can tell, and as I know, we got an opportunity to virtually meet one of your beautiful sisters the other day. Just knowing how important family is to you, and some of the amazing women that you have in your life. Would you share with us just some of the women that have shaped your life thus far on your journey?
Well, there are a lot, and I'll try not to get emotional already, but
all right, we got the tissues ready.
Yes. My mom, she for sure, since day one, she has clinged into her faith and into her hope. That's very contagious. Her prayers, the prayers of her mother, that makes a huge difference. And that's what kept me I would say, alive a lot of
Yes.
times. So I would say she's a big part of my whole journey. My sisters, they're my role models and my biggest supporters. I, writing this book, when I finished, I realized how much they they support and have that, they believe in me even when I didn't. That has meant a lot. My sister Carla, like you mentioned, she has been so excited. Sometimes I'm like, okay, she's doing too much. But she's amazing, and um she believed in my writing, and she has never seen my journals. She's So to me it was like, well, she's my sister, that's why she's believing in me. But just that belief and that faith in me, it was very contagious too. So she showed me a lot about even who I am as a person. Um, Also spiritual mothers, spiritual guidance, like yourself. I could not have done a lot of things without you, without um, my I have life coaches that have tremendously helped me. One is Kathy. She's from LA, and even from a distance, but she's has been in my life since 2015. Um, so I am very thankful for life coaches, therapists, personal trainers. I think God has aligned my life with, um, I needed a lot of help with my mental health, my physical health. And these ladies have had, you all ladies have had an impact in my life. Um, and I remember one thing you said through this process of writing this book, that, I was about to give birth to my first book, and you said, be intentional and who's in the delivery room with you.
Mm,
Um, and that really impacted me a lot,
wow.
because I did need to be intentional. I needed um, to see who was I going to let in this space. And I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for the women that have been around me. And um, I could not have done this without you all. So I am so thankful. I'm, just, it's just been a couple of weeks that this book has been published, and I'm still in awe and sometimes very speechless of everything. So that's the main, well, the women in my life are amazing. So
Wow. So amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. As and I tell you all the time, it has been truly a privilege and an honor to witness, to be positioned to be able to witness your journey, the challenges, seeing you just know, which has been a phrase that
yes.
we've carried with us and reminded you of for over a year now, that you just clung to. And I just commend you for that, and just thank God for all the beautiful women that He's placed in your life. And it's so important, I believe, especially in this season. This might be for somebody watching, that it's very critical in this season, who you have yourself surrounded with. And it's time more than ever to be intentional about that and to be clear about it. And if you're not, to do what it takes to get clear about who that is, that is supposed to be surrounded with you and that is aligned with you in this particular season of your life and what God is doing in it. So, oh my goodness, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much again for sharing that. And Leslie, so you're an author now, a new author. Can't celebrate it enough. I mean, my cheeks hurting from smiling here. Just so proud of you. But what made you want to write a book? Is this something that's new that just came about, that God just started stirring in your heart, or has writing and reading always been a part of your life? Share with us a little bit about that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, writing has been um, the way I've coped with not expressing myself. Since I was little, I had a hard time expressing myself. So I did a lot of writing, and then I would throw it away. I would write and put it in the trash. And then finally, I just kept it. And when I guess it will be when I got to college, when I knew that I knew that I knew that my life didn't have to just stay like that, and I needed to share a lot of things. And I just was praying about that, and I knew that I was like, well, I'm an introvert. I don't really like to talk, so I love to write. And so bookstores have been my favorite thing. I love books, but that was a dream, I would say, like as a little girl. But in college, that's when God began to really speak to me of just writing, and that was going to be a book. And so I just started to put, like, I guess, an outline of what can be a book. And at that point, I wanted nothing to do with sharing my life. I was not in a place of being vulnerable. I was like, I'm getting help, and so I'm not about to start sharing anything. So I looked at devotionals and like, this will be pretty, wanting it to be something nice and pretty and that maybe funny. Um, but as I began to write, the only thing I was able to write was my story, and it was hard. It took a lot of years, it took a lot of tears, a lot of prayers, a lot of battles, even with God. I would be in a lot, well, I wrote most of this book in coffee shops, and I would throw it away. I would delete sentences. I would say, no, this cannot be in it, but here I was telling God what I was going to do. That was funny. But then the way he would just direct me back to writing just my full story without shame, without, just say it, just say how it is, because it's your life. So I think during that process, I began to own my story. And I knew that I needed healing. And I was, like I said, I have amazing life coaches around me and just therapists throughout my life. But I knew that there is something deep that I needed to heal. And when I began to write, I thought I was just writing, but it was healing me a lot. There was a point that I did stop. And I think that's when you guys came into my life, because I was like, I'm just stuck. I'm like, I have this book, but I don't really have it. So you, Jason, really helped push this book out. And also I say it in the book of, I was listening to a podcast, and it just said, I don't even remember who, and I wish I could have, but he said, when you free yourself, you free a generation. And that, it kind of just threw me to just write and continue to and finish this book, because I wanted others to feel what healing is, and just to embark in that journey as well. So that's how basically I got to the finish line.
Oh, so amazing. Wow. It was something we were talking the other day, and I wrote down something. It says stories transcend age, stage, race, creed, and gender. And as you were writing this, as I said, we had the privilege and the honor to just have a front seat to your journey and all the things that you had to endure, even the delays, which were so beautiful in themselves, just to see how God's perfect timing occurred with this. His timing is never wrong. And it wasn't wrong with your book either. And so just seeing how all those things came about. There was this other thing we talked about, was that it's not just about the book that you're writing, but about the person that you're evolving into as you write it. And I can attest to firsthand the evolution of Leslie in writing this book and writing this piece. And that even we knew without a doubt that once it was released, that when people started to read these words on these pages, that not only would they feel and experience a piece of that healing that you felt as you were writing those words, but that even, like you said, generational impact. And I love that you're already seeing that take place within your family and within your circle, and God knows who else, as they purchase this book now that it's out there, the impact that it's having. So again, just thank you for staying the course and embracing the hard, long process of giving birth to this book and not hiding those pages that you originally threw in the trash, because it was those hidden things that people really, really needed to hear in order for healing to take place and for them to be impacted the way that they are. There's something about hiding. We're in the Hidden No More Women group here tonight for women who are aligning and rising to their purpose and power. And that's truly what Leslie, the journey that she's on and that she's been on as she's been writing this book. So thank you. Thank you. So I want to talk a little bit, y'all. Chapter 3 is, oh my goodness, y'all just have to get this book. We're not going to give y'all too much time. You just need to get the book. But we have to touch on this tonight. I feel like it's so important. As that we introduced Leslie as an author and as an advocate as well. As she shared with you, she was born with spina bifida, something that she was diagnosed with, but that does not define her and what she can do and who she is, amazingly. But chapter 3 is an open letter to the education system. And I think tonight we would be remiss if we didn't just touch on that. Leslie, if you can just share a little bit about what that is and why you felt like it was so important to include that chapter in the book.
It was a part of me that I was in a way ashamed of, because I felt like I missed out. I felt like I, even in college, I had statistics, I had algebra, and my whole journey, where it's more detailed in the book. And I was in special education, and then I was in remedials, so never a normal class or regular classes. So that was a part of me that I just really regretted, and it brought a lot of hurt. I love school. I love learning. I love books. Like I said, so that, to me, seeing it like something's being taken away, it was hard. And so when I was writing this book, I just kept going back to that, and I wrestled with God. I was like, I don't want to, because I'm mad. It was not like I'm hurt, I'm like, poor me. It was, I am mad. And I would see the news and my friends still talking about, because some are teachers, some are in the education system, and they would talk about how this stuff is still going on, and it would make me frustrated. It would make me so mad. And it wasn't until, God just began to ask me for those areas and to turn it into a message. And I, when I wrote it, I didn't doubt one bit of it. I knew it was a message for the education system. At first, I wanted for it to be for my letter, um, but it was actually for everybody. And I started this chapter mad and with this people are gonna pay for it, and but it changed because as I wrote those sentences, I wrote those words, I God began to heal me with with
Mm.
my own words. And
Wow.
then I think I wrote it maybe the last pages of how it didn't rob me, it just pushed me. It really did. It pushed me. I got my master's. I did that statistic class that I thought I was done with.
Mm.
um so that's why it was important for me to just put it. And the whole book, i i'm a I think I do a lot of things and sometimes I'm afraid of doing it. But I think I told you and Jason, this is something that I didn't doubt when I was writing it. I knew it needed to be out, as much as I was still scared of being vulnerable with everybody. Um, but yes, this is a chapter that it's very close to my heart, and I am excited to. I'm getting a lot of feedback of that one, so
Awesome. So awesome. And I believe you will continue to as you go into schools, as you grace stages and platforms um, that you've never dreamed of. Um, I'm so glad you included that in there. And again, advocate, it wasn't an accident including that um, in the description because you've not only been an advocate for yourself, but now you're being advocate for others. And so, wow, so good. So that was a little tidbit. You shared a lot about the impact that writing this book has had on you, um, and just the vulnerability alone of having to share some deep things that you were still grappling with, that you were still feeling and going through. But vulnerability is so crucial, in our lives, not just for ourselves, but for others. As we begin to open up, and as we're more vulnerable, we open up the door and give others the opportunity as well, and we give others the permission to do so. And so I believe you're going to see a lot of that as well as others start to read this book and you start to get other feedback, which you've already received some amazing feedback, man. I know you've been so overwhelmed by the feedback that you've received so far. And this is just the beginning, just the beginning. Oh my goodness. So good. So I know you're already witnessing some of the impact, as we said. But tell us a little bit about the impact that you hope, other than just healing the education system, family, we've talked a little bit. What's the impact that you would hope as you were writing it that this book would have on other people as they read it?
I think healing looks different for everybody. I thought healing for me was a physical healing. That's what my mindset was set on since I was little. But then I discovered there was a lot of areas in my life that needed healing. So I just hope that for everybody that reads it, that it just encouraged them to tap into those areas that it's really hard to go back to, or childhood, or just trauma that it's hard to go back to and deal with it. So that's my hope for anybody that because I get a lot of like, oh, thank you for being so vulnerable, thank you. And then they go into the this part. I'm dealing with it because you said that, and that
Mm,
is the most amazing thing. So that's the my hope and prayer for everybody.
wow. So good, Leslie. So good. There's one of this quote, it's one of my favorites about vulnerability. Brene Brown, she says, vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, creativity, innovation, and change. To create is to make something that has never existed before. There's nothing more vulnerable than that. And there is only one you, Leslie, and there is only one book called Walking and Healing, Overcoming Limits and Embracing Life. And the overcoming limits part, and you shared a little bit about the education system. And even in religious systems, we've talked a little bit about certain mindsets and certain ways that you were taught, that you thought because of other people's ideologies and thoughts about what healing should look like for you.
Mhm.
um, I'd ask you just for a bit, if you would just share a little tidbit about that, and not letting others define, um, just to help others, not letting other people define what that looks like for them.
Yes. So for me, I grew up in a household that's amazing. My parents are loving, they're accepting. They have always treated me as you don't have anything. But at the same time, I have a physical disability. Um, but it was when I was in school and then churches that the 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 point of prayer was, let me pray for your healing. Let me
Mm,
um you have to use your faith to
mm,
heal. I use crutches, so they're like, you need to walk without crutches, and so God can be glorified. And um at the beginning I thought, okay, I guess I need to be healed. And my parents' hope was always to see me well, so that was um not even a question. But the push of the church when it comes to, if you're not looking like this, you're not
mm,
using your faith. If you're coming in those doors with a wheelchair, you're not serving God well because your faith is lacking in some areas. Or your mother maybe did something to cause, so I heard
mm,
all these stories and all these things that people wanted me to believe. And sadly, I did start believing that. I was like, maybe my faith does need healing. So I internalized that. I kept it in. Um, and it took me years.
mm,
It took me a lot of years to get myself out of that, and that mindset, because it creates a mindset, and that prevents you to not want to get close to God. Because here's a church, here's leaders that are telling you that you need to have healing in a certain way because your faith is lacking. So, what kind of God is are they serving um if they're telling you that that's the end all,
mm,
so um to me that was a hard process. And I had to renew my mind when it comes to what healing was. And at the moment, healing did not look like I needed to walk without crutches. I
mm,
needed an internal healing. I needed my mental health to be healed. I needed my negative thoughts to be um, healed. So I needed that, and the church focused on the physical, and that took a toll in my life. So
yeah.
That's for sure. That's why I did share that in the book as well. That's very important for me because I don't want anybody to go to a church and to think that they need to look a certain way or to, or their faith is not good.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And I know that was difficult for you to share. But again, just thank you so much for, again, just adding those hidden pieces back in, because they're going to be so critical. They already are, to the impact that this book is going to have in different spaces. I think they're all going to be very surprised. But wow, yeah, I have to share this picture because look at this beautiful family. Look at this beautiful family. As Leslie shared, she came from a family, and she shares a lot in the book about the environment at home and the impact that that had on her in overcoming limits. We have to add that to your overcomer. So, overcomer, chosen. We got lots. We're adding a lot to that description as you introduce yourself. Well, Leslie has her first book signing coming up. Y'all give her some love this Sunday. Oh my goodness, so excited. Is Leslie's very first book signing, where she will be signing books and sharing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So if you are local here to the greater Houston area, come out. It's going to be at the, what is that, Aspire Coffee Bar, Leslie? Am I saying that right?
yes.
In Rosenberg, Texas, on Sunday from 3 to 5. So you guys need to go out there, grab your copy of this book if you have not already. Amazon might tell you 2 days, but it's coming in like one, y'all. It's you can get it. Get it in your hands before Sunday, and then come out to the coffee shop on Sunday from 3 to 5. It's going to be an amazing time. Leslie will be there. She'll be signing books. The coffee shop's amazing from what I hear. I can't wait to check it out. You'll get to meet some of her amazing family, who she shares about in the book and that she shared about a bit tonight. But come out on Sunday, come out, support Leslie, meet Leslie, and hear a little bit more about her story and her process of writing this book. As I said, it's not just about writing the book. It's about who you evolve into as you're writing it. Is the most one of the most critical parts. The book is going to have the impact that it's going to have, but the impact that it has on the writer as they embrace the process is just as crucial, just as powerful. You can see the link here now in the comments to go ahead and get a copy of this book. Make sure that you go back after you read it and go to Amazon and add a review there, as so many people have already done that. So it's set up some amazing reviews. The response has just been, it's been awesome. I know it's been overwhelming for you, Leslie, and Jason and I are just so excited. Again, so proud of you. And we know this is just the beginning. We shared with Leslie, I think maybe about halfway through, we would sit with her sometimes and we would just be like, I don't think she has any idea what's about to happen, but she released this book. But oh my goodness, just to be at this point and just to see, wow, see what God's already doing. Again, we just can't tell you enough how proud we are of you. And we just can't wait to see as you're already witnessing the exceedingly and abundantly above all that you can ask or think come to play already. That, wow, the limits are off. And so we just continue to support and champion you. You guys too, as you're watching, continue to pray for Leslie. This is just the beginning, the end to a beginning. of her journey. So look, you birthed a book now. That doesn't mean that's it. It's not over. You're just getting started on a whole nother part of this journey. And man, I just can't wait to just continue to see, the doors that God's going to open and what he's going to do. So thank you again so much. Thank you for being hidden no more. Thank you for adding in those hidden pages. Yeah, Leslie wrote down in her journal, I don't know how many years ago, I think it was probably college days, that she shared that she wanted to write a book. So those of you who are watching,
yes,
it's time to dust off those journals, those dreams that you've written down long ago that you haven't thought about in a long time, that maybe you've forgotten about, or maybe you're just hiding on the back burner, that it's time to bring those things out. Leslie's story is truly a witness to what God will do when we say yes and when we're willing, again, to stay the course and embrace the process of what he's calling us to give birth to. So again, Leslie, thank you so much for being hidden no more. Do you have anything, any last comments, any last remarks that you want to leave us with, or that you want to leave, I don't know, educators, students, those who have diagnosed with spina bifida or other disabilities and things in life, and overcoming those limitations that people try to place on us? What would you leave us those lasting remarks regarding those things?
To be uniquely you, and to be, to just, Jason always tells me this is going to be natural for you, because you just have to speak your story, speak out of who you are. And I'm putting that in practice, and I want everybody else to do the same and to walk in healing.
You heard it. Be uniquely you. There's only one you that can do what you can do the way you do it. Thank you so, so much again, Leslie. This has been so amazing. Thank you for being the first as we kick off this new Hidden No More series here. And again, you guys come out on Sunday at 3:00. The Aspire Coffee Bar. Come out, bring your book, get it signed, meet Leslie, meet some of her family, and hear a little bit more about her process of writing this book. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Invite a friend to come back and check out this interview. I hope it was as good for y'all as it was for me. I'm just beaming right now with just joy and just so grateful again. Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back here again soon. Stay tuned for our next interview session and some other things that we'll have coming up in the Hidden No More Women group. God bless you all. Good night.